Hi, I'm Dr. Jeff Donatello, and if you watch this video, then you or someone you know or love suffers from being overweight. And I want to talk frankly with you here. One of my mentors said to me once, Dr. Jeff, it's better to be real than nice. And this is what it's all about right now in this video. It's about being real. Because I'm a local doctor that's been around here for my whole life. This isn't some infomercial, but in the next 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to hear what it's all about, why you're overweight. All right, it's about being real. So there's three major reasons. You either have metabolic glitches, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Either you're eating the wrong foods, which you think you may know what foods they are, but you do it anyways. But we test for the specific foods you have sensitivities to in this office, and then exercise. So there's three major reasons. All right, if we look at those three things, there's no reason why you're not going to lose weight. But the biggest thing I want you to understand right now is if you're only looking to lose weight, shut this video off, throw it in the trash. I'm not going to be able to help you out. This office only takes people on where weight is a symptom of ill health. Now, you might be one of those rare people that are just overweight and you know that you just need to eat less or maybe exercise more. But there's a lot of people out there that fall into the category of they get up in the morning, they're tired. Late afternoon, they're tired. And it's not from being overweight. There's something metabolically going on. They don't sleep well. They're irritable. They have sexual dysfunction. They're not like they used to be. All these things add up, and there's reasons for that. Right, so we're going to talk about metabolic glitches, we're going to talk about food, specifically what we do with food here, and we're going to talk about exercise, those three things. All right, so metabolic glitches. Why are 80 million people in this country, why are they pre-diabetic right now? 80 million. That's like 1 out of every 4, 1 out of every 5 people in this country are ready to have diabetes. And a big chunk of those are already type 2 diabetic. Why is that? Well, we see it all the time in our office. Blood sugar issues are a major, major problem. If we don't get your blood sugar under control, if we don't get those cravings to calm down, you're not going to have success. And after about 3 or 4 days, what we do, 95% of the patients in our office tell me they don't have any cravings for sugar or starchy foods anymore. Breads, pasta, the way we do it. So we got to get blood sugar under control. That's number one. That's a very important thing. Thyroid. Everyone thinks they have a thyroid condition, and many of you do, but you go to your doctor and they run a few tests on you, and you find out that the doctor says, well, it's not a thyroid. Well, they just ran a couple tests. I can tell you they're running the wrong tests most of the time. Many people have autoimmune thyroid issues. And the reason I'm standing here in front of you as a chiropractor who's also a nutritionist is because my wife suffers from thyroid disease, and about 3 or 4 years ago we started these protocols on her. At my office, last year we helped over 100 people with thyroid disease. So it's mainly thyroid based what we do here. But we need to make sure your thyroid gland's working right. So blood sugar, thyroid, people can have anemias. That's a major aspect to what we do. A lot of people, their blood, they don't have the proper iron in their blood, and that creates energy issues. A lot of people have sleeping problems. We have to look at why you're not sleeping properly. So what we do here is a unique blend of testing that your doctor probably hasn't done. We do a complete metabolic workup. All right, it's done with blood. It's done with LabCorp down in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. We look at a lot of different things, kind of dig deep. We look under stones that probably haven't been looked under yet. And we put everything in functional ranges. Now, when you go to LabCorp, they're going to compare your blood to the sick disease population that had their blood drawn in the last calendar year. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to have my blood drawn compared to everybody else. I want it compared to a standard that the bar is set high. So we want to put those numbers in a range that shows that things show up. Metabolic issues will show up. If you're not sleeping well, if you have energy issues, we have to look at your adrenal glands. That's an adrenal stress index test. It's a spit test we do, morning, noon, late afternoon, and night, and we can see the cortisol rhythms. Those are your stress hormones. We can see those rhythms. They should start off really high. Your cortisol should be between 13 and 24 in the morning. Good energy when you wake up. The average person should wake up refreshed. High cortisol in the morning, and as the day goes on, cortisol drops and melatonin increases. You've heard of melatonin. Most people have. They take it as a supplement to try to sleep. When you go into bed at night, melatonin should be nice and high, and you should drift off, and you should sleep well. And then cortisol levels elevate through the night, and you have nice energy in the morning. So we need to look at blood. We need to look at spit. Okay, the spit test and your cortisol levels. Very, very important. I'm a firm believer that breads and pasta and dairy and soy and all those things can be okay for some people, but other people it's a nightmare. There's a company in California called Cyrex Labs, C-Y-R-E-X. They're a brand new lab. Some of the world-leading immunologists are behind this lab. We draw blood here and we send it to Cyrex, and we can tell if you have sensitivities to certain foods. And if you have sensitivities to certain foods, that means your body looks at food, whatever you eat, if you eat the wrong food, as a foreign invader. It looks at it like a bug that it shouldn't be there. And you have an immune reaction, and that creates inflammation, and that creates leaky gut, and that creates brain problems. And that may be why you have brain fog, or you're tired or don't sleep well. So we got to look, do you have issues with gluten? Do you have issues with dairy, soy, chocolate, potato, corn? It goes on and on and on. And I just had a patient the other day that potatoes caused her to be a total mess. So we have to look and we have to objectively measure. It's very important. So how do we have you eat? Well, we have you eat a certain way for a couple weeks. We take all the inflammatory foods out of your diet, and I'm going to tell you, I'll look you right in the eye and tell you that 90% of the people that come in here, it's really easy to get them feeling well, and that's having them eat this way for about 10 days. But we want you to be better long term. So we have to find out what foods specifically cause problems. So what we do is we have you eat a certain way for 10 to 14 days. We get some of the testing back, and if you do have metabolic glitches, we can narrow it down. Almost everybody in that first 2 to 3 weeks are going to lose between 3 and 12 pounds. A lot of that's water weight. But then we want to get you stronger. All right, we want to make sure we find the right foods, we find out what metabolic glitches you might have, and we do certain botanicals to help, encourage your body to heal. But we got to get you exercising. And what we find is people exercise wrong, flat out. You're looking at someone that not many people are as in good shape as I am. That's not to brag. That's just to tell you that I walk the walk here. There's nothing worse than a doctor that's sitting there smoking with a gut. My family follows these protocols. The office people here follow the protocols. And my friends follow these protocols for the most part. And what we do works. So there's a reason why I've been an All-American for the last 5 years in triathlon. And part of that's the way I exercise. You want to get the most bang for your buck. And most people only have to exercise twice a week. If you're watching this and you're overweight, more than likely you don't like gyms, you don't have time to exercise, and you may be intimidated by gyms. And it's all about just finding out the way to do this the most quickly that's right for you. 2 hours a week is what we're looking at, an hour twice a week. And if we exercise the big body parts, I always tell everyone in the office, we want to work big muscles. We don't want to work little muscles. We want to do resistance training and teach you how to really work the muscles. Because what happens is this. After the age of 30, you're going to lose 2 to 3% muscle mass every year, especially if you're a woman. And by the time you're 40, 50, 60, you've lost 20, 30, 50% of your strength. And if you don't have good solid muscle, and I'm not talking about bulky, big bodybuilder muscle, but just solid muscle like you had when you were younger, when you were solid. If you don't have muscle like that, then your body is not going to burn the calories that you take in at an efficient level. And you're going to, everything you take in, especially sugar, is going to be turned to fat. And that's what happens. We find that blood sugar issues are so big because in this country because people are just so weak. So their muscles just can't take that sugar that's floating around in their blood and convert it over to energy. Instead, they convert it to fat. And that's a real important part of this tape. So you have to understand that you're never going to get better, ever. You're going to continue to gain and do what you've done in the past 5, 10 years. That's just going to continue. I always tell everybody this. The best predictor of where you're going in the future is your past. So where you've been is where you're going to go if you don't change something. And I need you to pick up the phone. 207-438-9339. The number should be right down there. If you want to see what we're all about, go to DonatelloBBT.com. That's DONATELLO BBT.com. That should be down there too. And see what we're all about. You're going to find it's very different. What we do is super effective. We can change your life because that's the #1 thing we do in this office is add quality to your life. But it's going to take you making that phone call. So I hope this video made sense to you. Metabolic glitches, food, exercise. If you follow my protocols, you're going to get better. So I hope this is the year that you can do that. Don't make it like last year. 2012 should be and can be a much better year, but you have to change. So pick up the phone, give us a call. It's my hope that I can help change your life in the near future. Thank you very much.